done for. Everyone get out.
Greetings, sailors! I thought I'd do some live gameplay today because I've been a bit short on time. We had a bit of a power outage earlier, so that was, well, it's not fun, but it's getting towards that time of year where I live where it becomes more of a common thing, so yeah. Anyway, Battleships. Battleships have had a bit of an unintentional nerf with the last patch, and in fact things have been a bit funny generally, and there's actually been an official post today, at least on the EU forums, addressing this, and basically in an effort to squash a bug with the previous internal mechanics, stuff that you don't get to see in terms of what happens when shells penetrate ships and so forth. Basically, they unintentionally broke a whole other thing, or possibly several other things, because there's some weird things going on generally. HE with certain guns appears to be not working correctly. AP for battleship-sized guns appears to be not working correctly. So, yeah, all in all, it's a bit kind of wonky at the moment. And then, of course, there's also the captain's skill issue for carrier drivers, where the dogfighting expert thing is totally broken right now. I haven't even played the carrier since the patch came out, so I'm scared almost to take this thing out. Although if you flew around with a superiority bogue and used the stock planes and you were lucky enough to meet a tier 6 carrier, well, you could feast on their tiers instead, I suppose. But anyway, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the Nagato, and it's probably a bad time to take out the Nagato, but we're going to give it a go and we're going to see how this is in action. Now, we do have, as part of that official response, initially it seemed like they might just roll it back to the previous damage model, or the previous penetration mechanics. But they then have said, well, they're not going to do that because that wouldn't really... That's replacing, in their eyes, one broken system with another. Because, as it was explained, what was happening previously was that certain kinds of penetration with AP shells were being counted as citadels, even though they weren't actually citadels, and you can see how that would be a bit of an issue. And when you're in a cruiser especially, you would definitely be wary, especially at the higher tiers, of going near battleships, because you'll just get hurt. But what they've replaced that with unintentionally is the exact opposite, and it is now very hard, especially at closer ranges, to get citadels with battleship AP. So yeah, all in all, it's a bit wonky. I expect they're all furiously working on it at the moment, and I don't know. I mean, it's almost certainly going to be something that's worthy of a microfix, a hot patch to address, because it's a pretty major problem. Because with the captain's skill on carriers and this AP pen problem, they've basically managed to muck up half the ship classes in the game in one fell swoop. Don't think that was their intention somehow. So yeah, I think we can probably expect to see a patch sooner rather than later, and hopefully I'll load into this game sooner rather than later as well. Now, this is not great matchmaking, but it could be worse. I mean, the Nagato I don't actually like as much as the Fuso so far. I don't have the last hull yet, but I think just the fact you have less guns to play with, and also the fact that I'm probably not getting a fair picture of it. I've gotten it pretty much just as the patch went live, so it's been a bit frustrating when you've got a cruiser sailing around near you on 1,000 health and you just can't kill him. I do actually wonder if they've done something with dispersion as well, because I have been getting some very widely spaced shots with my battleship guns, more so than previously, it feels like. But that's always a dangerous thing to say. Well, it feels like this, therefore it must be true. So that might not be right at all. But we'll see. There appear to be multiple things that have turned out to be wrong with this patch. So hopefully they fix it sooner rather than later, because Warships is my main thing that I'm playing and enjoying at the moment. Although elsewhere on the internet it's all just Fallout 4, Fallout 4, Fallout 4. And you know what? I'll play Fallout 4 someday when it's like £10 on Steam, which is exactly how I got Skyrim. So yeah, I'm going to be patient on that one. I'm not that desperate to play it, but everyone seems to be pretty positive about it so far. So you know, when I eventually get it, when the modding community has gotten to the point where there's some really amazing things out there, then yeah, quite possibly I will get Fallout 4 when it's extremely cheap. Right, there's a Tirpitz up there. I don't think I've got good shots on the Cleveland right now. Everyone else seems to be, well, either heading this way, or there's a Miyoko coming this way, but the Oba and Cleveland going that way, and it really is just the Benson and Matsuki that are in there. Right, where's that Tirpitz? Oh, too busy talking, not busy enough looking. A couple of people in the last one, which was a .51 game as well, asked about mods. It's just Aslane's mod installer, but you can find the exact mods I use basically at the bottom of the description of every video, and it really is just the minimap mod, which one person thought might be a bit OP in the context of warships, and I don't know, maybe. I don't think it is myself, but other people might have differing points of view on that. And the other is a mod that actually, for aircraft, lets you see what carrier they're from. You don't actually have to have a mod to get a two-row carousel in the port anymore, though. The game now actually has that as an option with the filter settings, so that's rather nice. Right, let's try a guesstimate shot there. Let's also not get too close here, because I don't want to get focused. Being focused would be bad. I have actually, I think the less guns thing compared to the Fuso as well is just like your guns aren't reloading particularly faster than the Fuso. They might be a bit faster actually. I think the rate of fire might be a bit better, but it's just you can get less shells out generally. I don't know, I really liked the Fuso, and then this has felt a little bit disappointing, but I want to give it a fair shake after the fix comes along. Right, that should be a better spread, but I'm not hanging around here. Right, 5 hits, but I don't know how much damage I did because, of course, he was invisible at the time. So we're going to make a turn here. And get my ass towards those guys. There should be slower progress coming over this direction nearer friendly ships, but, like I said, I do not want to be the sole focus of enemy ships' attention. Also, that carrier driver was a bit... I mean, if he's going to continue to send his planes over Cleveland's, that's fine by me. Right, it's the Tirpitz. Well, his guns are pointing this direction. I have to say, I mean, I was a bit skeptical at first when it was starting to pop up about the... Okay, it's turning all the way around. About the possible issues with the patch, and then I was... because I've been mostly playing Battleship since it went live, because I was on a grind to get the Nagato, and then I was on a grind to unlock modules for the Nagato. And yeah, no, I did start to notice a lot less Citadel hits myself, so I think that was what convinced me. There's one hit, and just less generally. Although I saw Erun put up a video of I think it was in a Megami firing HE at Yamatos and just like 0 damage hit after 0 damage hit, which was a bit, yeah. So there's something up with the HE shells as well, it would seem like. Anyway, do not want to be alone with those enemy destroyers especially, but we've got stuff that's coming back in this direction now. So let's start making a turn. There's also an Amagi over here as well. Right, there's that guy back there maybe. Might be able to curve him over the island. Of course, he maybe waited until I was making a turn to get my broadside, but, well, he was turning earlier that threw off my shots, and I was turning that threw off his shots, so it's all good. Now let's hope this Pensacola doesn't start shooting a lot of AP at me, because that's the other thing that's been a bit weird. Cruisers penning battleships at weird angles with AP. And I guess that's more... Well, I'd have to play my Megami a bit maybe to find out if that was actually happening, because like I said, I've mostly been playing battleships, and it's hard to tell what's being fired at you unless you actually get set on fire. Although sometimes you can tell from the approximately how much damage you've lost, but it's not like there are mods that tell you how much damage you've taken in this one, which would be nice. That'd be quite useful actually. Right, also I think those guys are coming from me. Paying off attention there. Almost certainly. Right, got my fighter in the air there, that's fine. It's definitely not all HE for cruisers that's been nerfed, because I had the experience the other day of... Well, actually, I've had the experience a couple of times of playing the Nagato, of just like one or two cruisers managing to set triple fires, and that's not fun. And I don't know if that's something that's... again, it's like, oh, that feels unusual, but it might not be. That might just be my imagination. Right, there we go. That was the Citadel. That was a longer range Citadel. And actually, people's conclusions seem to have been that Citadels still at longer ranges. It's just at kind of sort of 8 clicks or less, and suddenly you have real trouble actually getting the Citadel pounds, or even doing significant amount of damage. And I have seen that firsthand. You land 5 or 6 shots and you'll do 3,000 damage, and it's like, well, that was a broadside cruiser at close range. That's definitely not right. Anyway, right, I'm going to repair that, because that is my steering that was taken out there. And yes, there's the destroyers firing their torps at me. Surprise of nobody. That's why I made that turn. Oh, it's the Cleveland that's setting me on fire. Yeah, I want to get away from him, definitely. Even in a higher tier battleship, Clevelands are still, you know, you have to be careful. Right, Tirpitz is on his own, which is a bad move, because now he's going to get solely focused, but I'm getting solely focused by the Fuso and the Cleveland. The Cleveland's actually more of a problem right now. And because he's in a Cleveland and because I'm in a battleship right now... Oh, I also can't steer, that's a problem. How is he invisible on firing? Oh, there we go. It means I'm going to have a harder time damaging him than I actually ought to. So yeah, now's a good time to drive your Cleveland. Also, look at that shell spread. This is... Maybe it's just I have fewer guns. Maybe I'm just feeling the battleship RNG a bit more than I was with the Fuso. But it does seem like I'm getting some quite ridiculously spaced shots. Right, this Benson's coming round again. I'm actually going to have to turn into these, I think. There's not a lot I can do about it. Another 10 seconds or so. Hello, Benson. Yes, I see you. This was a very bad time to get... and there we go, double fire. Alright, let's continue the turn. Not really a lot else I can do. I'll start trying to turn into him at this stage. I'm going to eat even more torpedoes. I'll kill speed slightly, which might make me throw off his prediction before he was trying to get torpedoes off, but I was definitely within range of his torps. Alright, I'm just going to go south as hard as I can, and there's the torpedoes. Right, I could do with a cruiser buddy here, because I'm getting kind of focused rather hard myself, unfortunately. Oh, I'm going to sail right into that one, aren't I? I might go past, actually. Come on, come on. Oh, no, right in the butt. Did not enjoy. 0 out of 10. Would not recommend. Right, yeah, this is why you don't want to be the sole focus of a group of ships, especially if one of them's a Cleveland. Right, let's at least get some repairs going. It's especially annoying if he's coming towards you, because the spread on the guns means it's like no hits. Oh, I got one hit there though. That actually penned. That actually might make it easy for me to get penning shots on this guy, maybe. Anyway, so I'm just going to circle round to my doom. Really can't do much about it. Yep. So this is fun. I think we're going to win, though. I mean, I'm going to die, but we are winning this fairly nicely. Might get one more shot off, though. Oh, also I can repair. Probably should. Right. So at this kind of range, this kind of angle, you'd think, oh, look at that spread. That was ridiculous. You don't think you would miss at this range, but then, you know, you haven't driven a battleship, clearly. There we go. Right, I'm pretty sure we're going to win, though. I didn't do that much damage, unfortunately, but getting my steering knocked out like that was just unfortunate. In fact, getting it repeatedly knocked out like that was unfortunate. So, yeah, we might give that another go. And I will have to skip ahead here, I guess. We'll, or we could actually just take out the Fuso. Why not? That would actually be quicker. And we could maybe see what this is all about with more guns. Because everyone loves more guns. Sorry, I was just role-playing as an American there. Wow, that was... I'm so edgy. I'm so edgy, I might cut myself. I'd better be careful. Right, battle, Fuso. I'm keeping the Fuso, by the way. I quite like the Fuso. I probably already covered that point. And by quite like, I mean I really like this ship. More than the Congo, even. Although the Congo's still pretty good. But anyway, yeah, Japanese battleships. It's like the Tirpitz was my gateway drug, and now I'm here. And someday I might even try the American battleships, but I'm not sure if I'm ready for that yet. Anyway, this is pretty damn good matchmaking, although they do have a Cleveland again. Clevelands! Why? Why? Although, I'm actually not that far off having a Cleveland myself. I'm still on the Omaha. Probably not going to keep it because I've got a Murmansk. You don't need an Omaha when you've got a Murmansk. But the Cleveland does look like one I probably want to have and keep. Because it's still the Cleveland. Even if it's not the Cleveland of closed beta, it's still pretty damn good. So we're on straight this time. And it's also probably going to take me a while to load in again. Which has just been a thing. The first couple of battles of the day seem to take ages. Although the load bar went by pretty quickly that time. But whether I'll actually get into the battle quickly, I don't know. We'll see. Let's hope. Oh, it's doing something. I want to believe. There we go. Right. So here we go. 6 guns. 6 guns. 6 turrets. 6 turrets with 12 guns. It's a lot of guns. I like this ship. It's a nice ship. Not as fast as the Congo. And I don't know how the armour compares to... Well, the Congo doesn't have a lot of armour. This probably doesn't have a lot of armour either. But I like this ship. It's a nice ship. Did I mention it has lots of guns? Anyway. Let's see if we can't... these guys are just about in range. Let's see if we can't get off some nice long-range shots. He's definitely going to be the better target. I've got a nice Fuso replay to put on the channel at some point. But I wasn't planning on jumping in and playing the Fuso, but here we are. I skipped over the stock hull entirely. That seems to be the received advice for this thing, and it probably was good advice, and for once in my life I actually listened to what people were saying. So there we go. 3 hits for 5k damage. That was not very impressive, but anyway. That looked like it was going to be better than it was. It was only 3 hits. I am disappointed. RNGesus, why? I gotta say, of all the battleships I've played though, I mean the Tirpitz is still tip-top #1. I am genuinely really looking forward to the German battleships when they come in. And, well, we'll see. 3 hits for 3k damage. Also not impressive. I am kind of looking forward to the British battleships as well, but we'll see what their gimmick is. Because the Warspite, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, the rest of the German battleships might not be like the Tirpitz either. I might be reading too much into it, but I'm not sure. I mean, the Warspite is fairly slow, but it's also got fairly accurate guns, and maybe that's going to be the thing of British battleships, is they'll have more accurate guns. 2 hits for no damage. Now this is another battleship I'm firing at, so that's also an island. So in theory I shouldn't really have a problem with the citadels, especially not broadside on another battleship, but I don't know. Anyway, we're not going to run right aground, which is good. We don't have any cap circles yet, do we? No, we've got the sea. I'm not paying attention. 4 hits for 3,000 damage. Maybe... Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting unlucky here. That's one of the infuriating things with this kind of issue, because it's like, is it just bad luck? Am I just shooting badly? Is it... It's actually really quite hard to tell. Right, so I'm going to take my life in my hands and shoot against... that was probably too high, wasn't it? Against a Phoenix. But yeah, it's kind of like, well, you can't really tell with this kind of bug, and I know well, at least a few people, you know, a vocal minority have said they're not playing, and I think at least one streamer has said they're not playing until it's fixed, because it's a fairly major issue if you drive a lot of battleships. And I have to say, since the patch, well, I've not really had many particularly high damage games, and it's a bit frustrating, because that's why you play battleships, is to get those lovely, lovely high damage numbers. Right, there we go, Citadel, but that was over 10 kilometers away, so that was alright. It's not like it's impossible to get Citadels, it's just at close range it seems to be difficult, if not impossible. Right, he is discovering the hard way, this Fuso driver, this enemy Fuso driver, but when you hump the line like that these days, it makes your ship incredibly slow. So even though he's 14 clicks out, I'm going to put them just ahead of him, because he's just lost 75% of his engine power. I don't think it's instantaneous. I think it takes a little while to happen, but oh, possibly coming for me. Actually, I should turn into those torp bombers.
Torpedoes, direct front.
No, he went for the Königsberg. Never mind. Right, I don't know how they're doing up north. Right, he's practically at a standstill. So I can aim just about at his bows and it should hit somewhere towards his turrets. I don't know. Maybe. That's a bit of a spread though. One hit, 3k damage. That was a pen. If we can take out that carrier, that would be quite useful. I think north is going to need another hit for 3,000. Relief fairly soon. He's burning fairly heavily though. A lot of his ship is also black, so you're going to get, I think you get slightly reduced damage, or you get somewhat reduced damage from blackened sections because of the way that it calculates damage based on where the ship is hit. 5 hits for 5,000 damage. I'm trying to hit the bow section here. It's hard to judge exactly how slowly he's moving. But yeah, no, that wasn't a good move, Orgo_1. Not a good move at all. And look at that. Practically stationary, 12.5 clicks away. RNGesus, why? Why? RNGesus? Why you do this? Anyway. He's now down. And I actually really want to chase up there, but I've just seen that Nicholas minimap trace. And that might be the Nicholas, actually. No, it can't be, though, surely. What else have they got left? Nijayaslav. Right. So, they're almost certainly coming from me. I'll turn out with those. Chasing up there would be... yeah, it's tempting, but probably foolish. That's what the destroyers want. Right, there's the Nijayaslav, so it must be the Nicholas that's dropping torps on me. No, I'm not seeing any plane action, so I don't know. This circling around has probably just put me further away from the fight. We'll just sail up through the middle, I guess. I could also launch a spotter plane. That'll get me enough range to potentially hit some of these guys up here. Oh. But at this kind of range, those are awfully chancy shots. Probably not going to make those very often. Oh, actually, that's why the carrier isn't sending his planes after me, because the carrier's dead. That might be it then. Well noticed me. Right, this New Mexico is moving pretty damn slowly. This is almost a 15-second shell travel time, so yeah, about there maybe. That's more or less the path he's travelling. It's quite a long distance away though, so if I get many hits out of this, it'll be sheer blind luck. And that was not quite enough lead, although I might just get his aft. Nope, they all missed. Oh well. Right, I'm pretty sure we're winning this one. I'm pretty sure we won the other game as well, but anyway. Also, our Königsberg's doing well. Right, take a bit more lead this time, although he is actually following around that turn, isn't he? I've got maybe another salvo after this before my spotter plane, of course, comes back to base. And, nope, yes, he turned out of those. Let's go for the New York as well, who appears to be going in a more or less straight line. Yeah, this will be the last one I get before the spotter plane comes back. So let's say about there. So that Nicholas is still running around. Fairly short range torps, but if he manages to get the drop on you, that could be nasty. Maybe a little more lead on those. One hit for an overpen. But at this range I'm not about to go, oh my god, it's the bug! It's the bug! It's robbing me of all those citadels I would have had. Probably not. Yeah, the enemy team didn't really offer a lot of resistance in this one, did they? Anyway, now in range regardless. Right, which way is he turning? Sometimes it's easy to look at the mini-map to figure out how someone's turning. Still got a Fuso over there as well. I'll go for the New York over the New Mexico because he's giving me his side, so that's the easier target. Nope. Straddle. We were joking about this on the stream the other day, that you get to say the word straddle in Warships an awful lot, especially if you play Battleships. Lots and lots of straddling. Yes. Anyway, isn't the English language fun? You can just, you know, multiple uses for the same word, just make everything dirty. Although, apparently, I can't remember if it's Cantonese or Mandarin, but it's very, very good for puns as well. I don't know if that also makes it good for innuendo. Oh, that's a nice type grouping, but only 6k damage. 2 incapacitations, though. 6k for 6 hits. It's a bit meh. I feel like this is, yeah, I'm definitely feeling the effects of this a bit. One thing I did like, though, I mean, with domination mode, they've nerfed the amount of points that various ships are worth, so it's easier to kill entire enemy teams. Although they have increased the, there we go, that was more damage than hits, which is nice. Almost 7k for 5 hits. They have increased the amount of XP you get for capping, which not sure about that, but for domination mode, okay. But I think it also applies to regular mode. The patch notes weren't very clear on that, but it does allow you to farm XP by capping, basically. And if you're on a destroyer and you manage to cap a lot on this mode, then I think you can do rather well out of it. In fact, you can probably farm XP rather nicely. Right, he's moving pretty slowly. It's only 11 clicks away. So this ought to be a fairly easy target to hit. Not bad, nearly 7k out of 3 hits, so at least one of those was a good penetration. And there's another word. I mean, that one's all about the context, though, but innuendo is all about taking things out of context, so yes. I'm sure everyone's laughed about penetration jokes about World of Tanks over the years, because, you know, secretly most of us are 12 years old still inside. Or not so secretly in some cases. But yeah, I haven't had any really good broadsides in a battleship since this patch went out, which is a bit... It's like, there's nothing like, oh, well, that was alright, but it was his last 7k health, so... It's just, yeah, when you pull up to a battleship and you unleash your broadside of Fuso guns or whatever, and it's like, 20k damage, without even citadels, it's like, it's so good. But you can't seem to do that quite as readily. Anyway, we might get to kill this guy in time, maybe, but we have all 3 cap points. He has a lot of health left, so if I can squeeze a bit more damage out, I'll be happy. Another 6.7k damage. Might get to land another salvo, although we are just about out of time on victory points. Oh, there we go. Another 3.3k. So this was alright damage-wise, but it does make playing your battleships against cruisers especially awkward. So the sooner they fix this, the better. It's not made the game unplayable, I think. Far from it. It's I don't know. It's just, from what I know of programming, it's actually kind of... Like, I'm not going to jump up and down on Wargaming for this kind of thing, because it's like you think you've fixed one problem and actually it's created 3 more problems. That's just how programming works. It's some kind of dark black magic that not even the practitioners themselves even fully understand. We'll also have a quick look at the Nagato game. It was, as I thought, going to be a win, and actually that was 2 missions out of that. That was not totally terrible, although it was only 36k damage. Didn't get to do that much. Just having my rudder repeatedly knocked out was just bad luck, I suppose. But as we can see on the Nagato, if I pick the right one, I don't really have all the equipment in there yet. I've got damage con 2, and I've got the thing that makes your guns more accurate, but I'm still lacking credits, and I need nearly 2 million for the last hull, so yeah. So there we go, there were some live action battleships that are still playable, but a little bit broken at the moment. I expect if I was to try the carrier, I don't even want to try the carrier, but it would be a similar story at the moment. Still playable, but feeling a bit wonky. So yeah, hopefully this will be fixed sooner rather than later. They know there's a problem, they know at least partly what the problem is, so I have faith, Wargaming, that you will fix this. I have faith, do not disappoint me, or I'll send minions after you with, oh, I don't know, something. Some kind of weapon that you'll regret, and there'll be wrath and incurring of wrath. And I don't know, this got very... I should just go before I keep on with this terrible Darth Vader impression. I need to work on that, clearly. So if you've enjoyed this rambling bit of live gameplay, you can hit the like button, you can leave any comments below, you can subscribe to my channel, and as always, stay tuned for more.